Welcome back. This is Open Exchange coming to you live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. And as promised, we have Shirish Pardeshi with us to shed spotlight on the FMCG space. He's from Centrum, of course. Centrum is positive on the FMCG space. Shirish, good morning and thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'll just take a minute to speak about the pre-opening trades. The pre-opening rates are opening absolutely randomly. The Nifty is in the red and the Sensex in the green. So we'll come back to it in just a bit. Shirish, happy 2025 to you. Thank you for joining us. Why are you all positive on FMCG? We heard every one of them almost, grumbling away. We had data from Godrej, we had Marico as well, not very happy with the kind of sales data they had in earlier Q3. What makes you positive?
Thank you, Latha, having me on the show. There are three trends which at this point of time, if you look at on the ground, starting from June, July onwards, the syndicated data was showing that the rural recovery was on the card. That is what is visible. Please keep in mind that about 52% of volume comes from rural markets, and these all are firing well. Second, barring apart the weather conditions, people might have become little short-term negative because the season, the winter is not the way it was panned out. But if you look at the agriculture data, whether it is the Kharif crop output or Rabi, I think my view is that the rural will still continue to do better. Now, the issue is that when we look at the urban consumption is inching lower than the expectation. There are two reasons there. When you look at the MFI data, the microfinance data collection, or you look at the earning growth, which has been tapering down, no wonder the leverage of the urban has gone up, and these consumers are having a pinch. The third point which is there, which is important, is that how these companies are managing the channel conflict. If you look at the QS, the quick commerce segment is firing well, the modern trade is doing well, while the general trade, the traditional trade is struggling. Now, these channel conflicts are actually telling us the primary billing or the company billing is happening at the lower side, while the secondaries are having better. Look, the Indian consumers are always been value for money, and they will hunt and bargain whichever channel which is giving them the benefit of price.
Okay.
No, but Mr. Pardeshi, the point I think for the market is that do you want to be in stocks which are going to give you low single digit to maybe sort of mid single digit kind of growth, which is what FMCG has been doing, considering the valuations have been very, very rich historically. You do have a positive view on, I think, companies like Colgate and maybe, I think, even an ad on HUL. So tell us the buy thesis over there. What do you see ahead? What kind of volume growth in 2025? I mean, FY26, let's say.
See, if you look at last 3 to 4 quarters, this volume growth was being challenged. However, Colgate has proven that whatever inputs in terms of marketing, on-ground activities, distribution, sampling, these all are reflecting into the very strong volume growth. Now, the question is that the street is not giving the benefit, saying that the volume growth is low to high single digit and the value growth is missing. But you have to also keep in mind that the inflation is inching up and there could be a price which is there. Historically, my experience says that 2/3 volume, 1/3 price is the right summation, which is better for the consumer companies. However, at this point of time, the price inflation, which has just started inching up, and if you look at our channel check says that most of the companies has implemented around 3-4% price increases. So effect of this will happen. Now, the question is that if you want me to answer the next year, what kind of volume growth we expect, you can expect a 10-year or 20 years average, which is in the range of about 4 to 5%.
Okay, just want to interrupt the stock discussion for a minute. The markets, stock markets still are not giving us much of a trend. The Nifty is kind of blinking flat line to red and the Sensex is up 0.25%. So I won't come to shares since things are so undecided, but what's clearly traded, the traded rate on the rupee is clearly indicating continued weakness. It's now gone to 85.13.14. We closed yesterday at about 11.12, 85.11.12. So the first trades have been for a more expensive dollar. And that is perhaps to be expected because we did see the dollar index move back up over the 108 mark. So this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. Shirish, are your buys only HUL and Colgate?
No, our buys are Britannia and Emami.
Okay,
The reason
sorry.
is that Emami, if you look at the 10-year average or even 5-year average, the 1-year forward was in the range of about 30-32, while Emami is trading at maybe 23-24 times. So there is a value which is there. However, the interest is that if the season is expected to pan out the way next 15 days, if the temperature falls, I think Emami should do well. What is more important is that all the issues around the company's pledge and other things which are sorted out. And I think it's one of the better company which has been delivering a very strong high operating margins. So in that context, there is a value pick which I would say. Similarly, when you look at Britannia also, which is trading its lower than 5 years and 10 years average multiple. However, what is more important at this point of time, the company in the previous con call has already said that there is price increases or the grammage reduction which will happen. We'll have to wait and watch. However, these are the things which are in the short term. And looking at the multiple, it looks attractive at this price.
Okay.
What about ITC? The stock hasn't done too much despite the news about the hotel demerger. Is there any value in ITC at current levels or any arbitrage?
I would say that let's wait because we are in that phase. Another 15-20 days, we will have budget blooms and things will start inching up. However, on ground, what is important is that if the thesis is that the rural recovery is on the card, I think I would expect the cigarette business for ITC should do well. However, we have to also keep in mind that there is an incremental competition which is gearing up in the cigarette segment. So one, there are two short-term challenges. One is the budget, what will happen and what are the kind of duty changes and the excise changes which will happen. And second, I think the industry has not taken a very strong price increases and there's no precedence unless the excise has gone up and the industry has taken standalone price increases. So I think these are the two interlinked issues which will get a clarity maybe another a month or so.
Okay. Thanks a lot for that, Shirish. A pleasure speaking with you and hope you have a very good 2025.
Thank you.
Well, that's the word coming in on the FMCG space from Centrum.